Let us know if you can see and hear us. Why? Why?
And we mean very allegedly.
Oh, okay. Hey, I see us. I see Mew's screen.
Awesome.
And his chair is... Mew, you might want to shove that chair, Yeah, there you go. There we go. All right.
Better, but you can see the corner.
That's
you can
fine.
see behind the screen.
Oh, no.
Pay no attention to the man behind.
Oh, no. It's AIE After Dark. Anyway. Okay. So, I should... All right. No, don't hit it. Head here. Yes. All right. There we go. All right.
We're live?
We're live. We are live.
Oh, jeez. Okay. That's what I hear.
You know what's really useful to have?
What?
Show notes.
The
Show
notes?
notes.
You might find out you're leading this monkey show this week, so yeah.
Oh, gee. Doomed.
And we're changing things around, sorry.
364.
There we go. All right. That's as
Okay, my Discord kept dropping before we had to restart the computer, so it was almost like maybe we don't need to have a show this week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. I've got a new...
All right. We can be seen and heard.
Yay. All right. So allegedly, I should be able to just throw that over there without pulling everything to the ground. All right. Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, and Mew, Tet, put your topic here. All right. Yeah, what have we been... So you want to just do the news first and then do what have we been doing at the end?
Yeah.
And then the topic is, what did I say? Oh.
The perception of choice.
Yeah, or illusion of choice.
As compared to MMORPGs, RPGs, and pen and paper RPGs.
Yeah.
Or single player RPGs. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay. And Mew, we're probably going to try and have Abo and Kelsey are on next time since the patch will have launched.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be days.
18th Abo.
All right.
All right.
We're ready?
No. Yes. No? Maybe. Sort
Close
of.
as it's going to be.
Close as it's going to be. Okay. Kaz says he can see and hear us. Go find those data crunch, Kaz. Okay. Whenever you are ready, Mew.
Let's do it this way, so I'm kind of looking at the screen. All right. Start this monkey show in 5, 4, 3. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
Congrats on 100 fine episodes, you working class nerds.
Hey, you. Don't forget to log into your characters.
Friday nights are for SWTOR.
Wait, what? The cake isn't a lie?
And we are talking to ourselves.
All that and more coming up right about now.
AIE News.
Welcome to episode 364 of the podcast celebrating you, the LA Yachtas gaming community, the Die Has Been podcast. This is Mewcow. And to my left is Makala.
Hey folks, there's a lemon poppy seed coffee cake and apple strudel in the guild kitchen.
Yummy.
Left and down below somewhere is Tessemi.
Currently in the guild kitchen eating all the things.
Dad!
No? Save
No,
it for dinner?
that, yes, that's later.
Okay.
And if you're curious, this week we are our own special guests. So welcome, team.
Yay!
We'll be talking about life, the universe, and Timmy's question of the show shortly. But first, let's cover this week's news.
AIE News.
All right, we'll start with community news. In particular, mandatory fun nights, where the fun is mandatory, but the attendance is not. And of course, earlier today, Sundays, we had WoW Classic at 2 p.m. doing their thing. And in a little bit, an hour from now, we'll have STO at 8. No, it's right now, Eastern, because I'm Central.
Yes.
At 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 my time is STOs. And then Mondays, we have Guild Wars 2 at 9 Eastern. On Tuesdays, we have SWTOR doing their thing at 9 p.m. Also on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we have a Final Fantasy XIV casual rating night. Wednesdays, Final Fantasy XIV is up again with fun nights at 9. Thursday, that's Final Fantasy XIV again, doing progression rating at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. There. Now for a change of pace on Fridays, we have ESO at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed by, you guessed it, Final Fantasy XIV Late Night Fun Run at 11 p.m. Eastern. Then Lord of the Rings on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then that pesky Final Fantasy XIV doing map nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Very popular night. Also Saturdays, New Braid, starting at 11 p.m. Eastern in.
All right, and we have guild streaming and podcast news. Also, if you're a guildmate and you are streaming, let us know when the regular streaming is, if you're doing any AIE content, and we'll be happy to make sure people know about that. For our podcast news, the big one, Working Class Nerds, episode 100. Woo! Mark and Nick celebrate 100 episodes of Working Class News with great friends of the pod. Max and Seema, hey, we know those guys from the SWTOR Escape Pod. They came to join. Together, they chat about video games, movies, the trials and tribulations of maintaining a podcast. Don't we all know that?
Mm-hmm.
And listening to voicemail from you, their fans. If you want to know more, find Max and Seema. As you guys know, they're at new. Wow, I can't read tonight.
New Overlords.
New Overlords. God, wow. I need to make this a little bigger. I apologize, guys. I have an old. Please hold while the old woman makes her screen bigger. There we go. And of course, everyone is at AIE-guild.org. So also in other podcast news, the SWTOR Escape Podcast 375 Enclave points
PTS.
first look. Wow, see, my reading is hard. Malgus is Unchained, and they try to track him down with a first look at the secrets of the Enclave flashpoints on the PTS. Hey, that got repeated there. All right, in the Fleet Action Report, Star Trek Online, Fleet Action Report 36, Enemies Part 7. They return with episode 36, Enemies Part 7. Nicodemus and Greybog are back, and this time they're talking about yet more enemies of Star Trek Online, focusing on the Undyne, Theonis, and not cool.
I think Tholians.
Tholians, yes.
All right. In Nomads news, the board gaming is on the first Thursday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Central in the AIE Discord. Just look for the board games channel. In Valheim, they're planning a Wednesday night boss fight on Wednesday, April 7th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 max time. We'll spend an hour trying to take down as many of the bosses they can in Valheim. And the reason taking the bosses down is important is that's how you progress and open up new recipes and new skills and other things, is you have to get past the barrier. So could do that. All right.
Yeah, here if you just tame 20 or 30 wolves, you can take those bosses down pretty easy. Easy
Yeah.
stuff.
They were all gonna get in a circle with a bow and just, all fire at the center.
There you go. Hey, works. It works. Over in WoW news, per the post in the WoW Discord channel, there's an upcoming guild purge on the WoW Alliance side. Don't forget to log into your toons to avoid being swept up in the spring cleaning. And while you are logging into your account, make sure you acquire the charity pet bananas. Not automatic. All you have to do is go to your Battlenet launcher to get bananas. I think that they want you to do that to get the sloth pet.
Yes, but you have to claim bananas, and then if you continue donating to Doctors Without Borders, that will unlock the sloth pet.
That's
Excellent.
right.
Also, your Battle.net icon may have changed. It's now a round blue circle with 3 lines and is very hard to find.
Ah, well, that's confusing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And WoW Classic. Just a reminder, Burning Crusade Classic is in beta, so if you're interested and have access, take a look. There's still discussions going on about what the AIE Guild and the Greater Alliance is going to do there.
Yep. And in SOTOR news, in AIE SOTOR, our Friday night schedule has been solidified into a repeatable order of events. We have a new addition to the lineup, which is Hard Mode Ops Training. It's one night a month where Marcus will be teaching us how to do mechanics in harder mode fights. If you've ever wanted to learn how to take that step up from story mode operations, this is for you. The first night will be April 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And the repeating order of Friday night events is now, on the first Friday of the month, it will be Master Mode Flashpoints. Second will be Hard Mode Operations Training. The third mode will be Achievements. The fourth Friday will be Mega. And the fifth, if there is one, is a wildcard/break. Also, the PTS is up and showing the new Flashpoint, Secrets of the Enclave, and the beginnings of a new reward system called Galactic Seasons. There are no story spoilers. In fact, as you're going through the Flashpoint, you're kind of like, why am I even here? Why am I attacking stuff? Because all the cutscenes are missing, all the flavor is missing. It's just the mobs. But go test it and let them know if it's too hard, too easy, just right. And you're good. And also, Tuesday nights, mandatory fun night. No experience required, no gear required. Sometimes there are a level requirement. Usually it's 70 if we're going to do operation. But other than that, you just need to have your character in the guild and have a ship, which means getting out of your first planet. Check out Brandon Kavanaugh's post in Discord, usually on Tuesday afternoon, to see what side we're doing and what we're doing that week.
And over in Final Fantasy XIV news, we do have patch 5.5 coming on April 13th. Contains part 1 of the patch story. They're splitting it up because they're, smartly stretching out the content instead of just giving it to you and wandering away for, half a year or so. But I'm not bitter.
That's like,
It includes the new Diamond Weapon trial, which looks very interesting, and the final chapter of the Nier Automata crossover, which we're heading into the Tower at Peridium's Breach. This patch will also close out the story of the Ishgardian Restoration. Part 2 will come towards the end of May, and we'll have the rest of the patch's storyline, as well as updates to the Save the Queen storyline, where we'll head to Zadnor to liberate Bajja from the 4th Legion and finish this expansion's relic weapons. And pretty easy, just a bit of a grind. The Digital Fan Fest will take place on May 14th and 15th. All events will be streamed for free. Various Final Fantasy IV pets will be available for purchase along with the game's first 8-player mount. Crazy, it's a space whale.
Wait,
they call it the lunar whale, but it's a space whale.
Space Whale, got it.
This is kind of like the 5-person mount from WoW, but it's 8 people.
8-person.
Wow.
It's for your entire raid
That's
because we're going to be raiding the moon.
All right then.
So how do we
And move back, Demon Wade.
So how do we get this? Is it
you buy it? It would have been part of the Fan Fest. Like if you bought tickets to the Fan Fest or bought the virtual pass for the Fan Fest,
okay,
they would have included it with it. But they're just making the whole thing free. So like, okay, you have to buy the mount separately. And not everyone needs an 8-player mount.
Right.
But every raid team is. Yes.
Definitely.
Map nights, raid night. Well, map night is technically a raid night, so you know we may call it map night, but it's technically a raid night. But yeah, I mean you wondered how we're going to get to the moon. Well, lunar whale.
All right then.
How it works.
There you go.
But yeah, you can look forward to getting that on the same day that FanFest begins. So, forward to it.
Excellent. All right, and on ESO news, cool things that the guild has been doing. First, there was pie for the Jesters event, and now the cake is no longer a lie during ESO's 7th anniversary Jubilee event. That's always good to know, because, you know, cake is really great, even if it sometimes is a lie.
Yep.
Recent MFNs have focused on maximizing the benefits of experience boost in effect during the in-game events by grouping up to run dungeons and slay dragons. There is normally at least one death caused by gravity due to Kenny leading people off cliffs. Things that are planned for the upcoming for the guild. MFNs will continue to be focused around the daily dungeon and dragon slaying to take advantage of in-game in-game events currently in progress. Wow. Sorry about that, guys. So there's a little bit of also official news. The Anniversary Jubilee event celebrates ESO's 7th anniversary, as we alluded to. It started on April 1st and runs until April 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. No, EDT?
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, Eastern Daylight Time. Wow. After you help the chef bake a cake, you can get the 3 event tickets once per day per account. From using and eating the cake as well, and 100% increased experience buff that can be refreshed every 2 hours. So see, the cake is not a lie.
Nope.
All the games daily quest rewards reward you with a Jubilee gift box that can contain crafting materials, motif pages, furniture recipes, outfit style pages, and I'm gonna guess fireworks because it said Jubilee.
Probably.
Okay, cool. The black guys, I'm kidding about the fireworks. So sorry, I just had to throw that in there. The Blackwood Prologue quest line is available for all platforms, and anyone with access to the base game. Completing the quest line will get you a Diadic Unwarding Amulet memento as a keepsake.
All right. And in STO news, STO is running First Contact Day event. It includes 2 TFOs, Synthwave, and the First Contact reenactment, and a patrol one night in Bozeman. Why? No, never mind. Bad joke.
The world's your oyster.
Exactly. Fleet Action Report will be highlighting this event during tomorrow's stream. And in Guild Wars 2 news, the next Dungeon and More night is April 9th from 9 to 11 Eastern. And in Lord of the Rings Online, for Saturday Night Lotro, we will be doing skirmishes and various group content to take advantage of VIP weekend from April 8th to April 12th. And on April 17th, they will be returning to the starter areas to do some deed runs as a group so people can get some Lotro points and Virtue XP. And with that, let's talk about what we've been doing in and out of game. And I have a question.
I probably should put Mew's name there. Sorry about that, guys.
So, all right. So let's start with McCullough.
Hey.
What have you been doing in or out of game?
Well, we had a really busy weekend. I'll let you talk about some of that, but reorganized part of the garage this weekend because I went to make Easter baskets and it was chaos. So that was one of the things in Ted's Easter basket. I may have gone a little crazy with the candy.
Slightly.
Yesterday. Took my friend's dog to his first outing in public. He's 8 weeks. No, he's 12 weeks old. 16 weeks. He's a good baby. He's 4 months old. There we go. So we took him to the farmer's market. What else we do yesterday? We did a lot. Worked on
the master bedroom and took a bunch of stuff to Goodwill.
Yeah. We did a lot of organizing this weekend. That was crazy. Let's see. Though game-wise, I'm gonna start with game I play with SJ as she's DMing us. The Greenwald Adventures. We actually got a bit of excitement. We found out that we were hired by this guy to help him because his friend had asked him to come to the big town. He had this great adventure in mind. Then we found out the friend was a wanted criminal, and our guy we were traveling with was also wanted because being in league with him. We've been trying to track down the friend. He found us at this little tavern where he proceeded to give us a map and then vanished. And then the Duke came into the tavern with his men searching for the guy. He was found out back, having been assassinated. Good times. So this actually led us to an adventure down into the sewers, into the old city, because we're trying to find. We don't even know exactly what it is we're trying to find yet. It's kind of vague, but we'll know it when we find it.
You'll
the
know
kind
it
of
when
fun
you
thing,
see it.
exactly. The kind of fun thing though with this adventure is generally it's been he's so cute, very very character driven. A lot of more social interactions, but this is the first time we actually had a dungeon crawl where we had honest to goodness, mind crawler and bad. So we actually had quite a few little battles, so that was a lot of fun. That's what's happening there. SOTOR, wow. Our Star Wars game we didn't play this week. But last adventure got real interesting. We're on this planet. They have strange resources. We just found that there are people being used as slaves. But they are clearly the ones that are, and they're doing some mining. And Night Sister, what race is that? Drethmorian?
I think so. Yeah.
It's the same one Maul is. And I cannot remember the dang name.
Keep talking. I'll find it.
Okay, look it up for me. Thank you.
Dathomir.
We found a basic Dathomir. Thank you. Did I get Dathomir and Grimorian confused? Bad Star Wars nerd. Anyway, so we found out that the people that are running this mining operation is a Dathomirian female, and she's searching for a crystal because that's what they're mining, and it's never the right one. It's never the right one. So we well, that's interesting. We report that information back. We all start having really weird dreams on this planet, so okay, we need to figure out what's going on there. So we find this ancient Sith temple, and we find out this was actually a Sith planet. So we're exploring the temple. There's this really hard to get in place, but of the characters that are there, I have the highest agility, and I'm the smallest. So look, okay, I'll get in there. We see this weird. It looks almost like a holocron. I go in. We actually have to throw a grenade in because there are these creatures guarding it. Don't take any damage from the grenade, which was fun because obviously it was a risk. And then I go to grab the item.
Bad idea.
And that's the last thing my character remembers. As I then proceed to go unconscious. And I'm getting visions. Which my DM's like, the great thing is you're going to understand what's going on the planet now. Also, anybody who touched the crystal, there was 2 of us ended up touching it because they had to get me out. You now do have the option to pick up force sensitivity if you want.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, I'm playing a former Imperial. I literally was poo-pooing the force moments before
She was
I touched this.
it.
But I'm also the girl that idolized Luke Skywalker as a kid. Of course I'm going to pick up force sensitivity. What are you talking about?
Ancient religions and yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I was like, it's I'm like, it's a bunch of bunk. It's used to control people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this.
So you just picked up a mound of midichlorians? Is that what it was?
It was like a Sith. It was like a Sith holocron.
Yeah.
And it connected her to the force.
All of the midichlorians, according to
we actually have been making midichlorian jokes in our chat, so yes. And then a Call of Cthulhu. It's, I don't know, we're a week away from World War II. Nothing as exciting is going to happen.
No.
At all. It's fine. We are on a cruise ship. We were on a cruise ship. There were 2 Germans that ransacked our rooms. Well, we're assuming it's the Germans. Ransacked our rooms, found my character's mentor / former lover. Yeah, it's kind of gross. His journal that he had sent to my character that we're but we got the information we needed out of it. But that got stolen. we're kind of tracking them down. One of our characters was following them and saw them like under in the cargo area give something to somebody, but they couldn't see who it was given to. But our DM kind of focused on the fact that there's this gorgeous, brand new 1939 Mercedes on the ship.
Ooh.
Right, gorgeous. He also specified, as my character was trying to acquire a room because the person we're traveling with, my character's ex's current, made sure that my character got second-class accommodations.
Whoops.
So I was trying to solve this issue, and they're like, well, there's no first class available. I'm like, okay. We have the Queen Suite available. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Like, well, okay, but do you have the money? I'm like, oh, let me go get the money because we're traveling with someone rich. And of course, as she goes back with the money man, there's this sheik who got the Queen Suite. I'm like, okay, well, his room's available now, isn't it? But so later, we interact with the people that we think stole the journal. They've been following us clearly. The girl we're traveling with, there's an attempted assassination, and the symbol on this woman pretends to be the maid, goes in, tries to stab the person guarding her because we had somebody in the room with her. Well, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Take care of the assassin. On the end of her blade, or on the end of the hilt, is the symbol of the Thula Society.
Not good.
Not good. We're trying to basically track down this belief that the Atlanteans are the descendants of Europeans.
Gotcha.
Which is like this, like something that my character's mentor had an obsession with.
Right.
So now, but oddly enough, that's something that the Nazis are really interested in. That's their thing. That's what the Soul Society believes in. Right. So why are they trying to assassinate this girl who's working on this? So, right. And then we find like that the two guys that were following us that stole the journal have gone missing. We start trying to search the ship for them. We go to below deck, and we happen to notice there's some cloth sticking out of the boot of that beautiful 1939 Mercedes.
Right.
We get it open with a crowbar. See, we were going to have to go in through the back of the car and then cut the leather, but we didn't do that because it's a 1939 Mercedes. We jerry-rig with a crowbar. We open it up. There are two dead bodies. They have looks of horror on their face, and they have clearly drowned.
Oh no!
But they on the boat, not in the water, on the boat.
Right.
And then we find out that that Mercedes belonged to the sheik.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, my character kind of and we found out then also that he has a thing for women, attractive blonde women. Don on a lot of makeup. Luckily, one of our characters is a makeup artist. My character is very attractive. So kind of go to his quarters during a party, and lo and behold, there is a tall man who is about the size of the person that our colleague saw. That's clear, like the sheik's vizier. So yeah, they know us, we know them.
Good times.
The Thula Society is after people. Pretty sure that we have multiple factions at work. And by the way, it's August 23rd, 1939. In Egypt. So at least we're in Egypt and not Europe. We just left Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times. Good times. I think that's pretty much all my games. We're getting ready to start Rose's game up again, so that'll be fun. We're supposed to start this weekend, but Rose's still working on stuff, and one of our teammates had some work stuff come up, so we're gonna get started in the next few weeks. That's what I'm doing.
Cool.
Exciting.
Mew,
Well,
what
then
did
we'll. No, I'm in charge, so it's
Oh,
you.
shit.
You're going next.
Ah,
Fine.
dang.
All right. So in real life, I've been wanting to get some dimmable ceiling lights, the can lights that we have, and we've got 32 plus a bunch more. Yeah, we've got around 40 of them just in the 2 stories in the house. So one of the YouTube people I watch is a handyman, and he was doing a retrofit in a house that had really dim lighting down in their basement. And so he's like, but they have these can lights, they're just not utilizing them right. He's like, so it's a drop-in replacement. Basically, you pull the bulb, you pull the shield out of the can, so it just leaves the can in the ceiling, and then you screw the 2 wires. Basically, it's the base of a light bulb. You screw that in, and it has 2 wires that come out, and you plug that into the back of the uh, kit, and then on the back of it, it lets you set the color temperature for the light. So if you want really warm light or really cold light or just like normal, daylight, you can set it on that. And then it just has 2 spring clips that you attach to the holders on the side of the can, and then just push it up, and it fits flush with the ceiling. It replaces the whole thing. So Ryan and I did that this weekend. We also had to, as part of this, since we wanted them dimmable, I had to replace all the switches. And in 2 cases, we've got 3-way switches, so I had to figure out, because there's an extra wire that you have to put in the right place on a 3-way switch. Otherwise, it's always on or always off, and it doesn't work right. But they're really nice because it's instead of being a rocker switch, it's just you press it in once, and it will go to whatever dimmer setting you have. And there's like 8 levels you can set it to. And then if you hit it twice, it'll just go to the brightest setting automatically. So they're really cool, and the installation went smoothly. So now I've got a bunch of extra parts and stuff that looks like our remodel from last time. So that was our weekend project, was to get all the lights swapped out and get them set to the right colors we wanted and all that. So got all that done. I have one more 3-way switch to do, but it's in our hallway up the stairs. And I'm like, the fun part was trying to figure out, because we did a remodel, we had a second circuit breaker in the bedroom. So like the upstairs was fairly easy because that's all well labeled, but the original panel was like done in permanent, like a permanent marker on the side of it, and it's like, okay, that's referencing something that doesn't even exist anymore because of the remodel. What does that actually do? But thankfully we found the lights we needed to, and so I put a spreadsheet together that now has the 2 panels and has it documented well, of like, this switch will turn off these lights, but not these lights. Oh, and these 3 things that you think it should shut off are actually controlled by the second panel, and it's this breaker to turn those 3 off. So the lights are the easy part. It's the shutting, it's figuring out the outlets that are going to be the tough one. But
goodness.
That's another project. So that was our real life project, was getting all that cleaned up, and then yard work. It was, of course, the first 90 plus weekend, so I had to get out there early and cut the grass, and thankfully I did, because our neighbors were having a party next door, so at least our front yard looked nice for them. So hey, good timing. But I got that all
accessory.
Yeah, I got that all cleaned up. And then, other than raiding and trying to get the last of my mission table people to 40, I really haven't done that much in WoW. We did get 2 new progression bosses down. We got the Blood Council down, so we got our dancing shoes on and boogied down, got them down, and then we went, and it seemed like we were going to have some trouble with Sludge Fist because it's a DPS race, and we're like, we're running 4 healers with 15 people, which is not the correct way you want to do it. But we're like, well, maybe with 4 healers we can keep enough DPS alive that
Yeah.
it'll work. And our first pull, we got him to 50%. Second pull, we wiped with 200k left. And we're like, okay, we got this. We just have to clean up some things. And then boom, 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 out go the lights. The thing died right after the fourth the fourth pillar was broken, and we didn't
We all
have
have
a
very
problem.
large heads in our bags.
Yes, exactly. Now we just have to
And
collect
for-
them 3 more times.
Yeah, which is, kind of baffling. Like, how are we going to get this guy's head 4 times? Okay.
So we've got that. That's the Land of the Dead. They come back.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to do Stone Legion Generals and Sire Denathrius tonight.
Yep.
So from what I understand, Stone Legion should be fairly straightforward, and Sire Denathrius is okay, you guys spent a lot of time on this, so we'll see.
But and it's for different reasons too. Like the Stone Generals are harder, but Sire is more chaotic.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can understand the chaos, you can actually take his fight down pretty quickly. But
yeah,
the Stone Generals are very unforgiving if you don't do things the right way.
Yeah. So we'll figure that all out. So that's what I've been doing. And then most of my time gaming, when I've been doing house projects and stuff, has been in SOTOR. Just been getting, I've got 9 level 75. So I'm just kind of, like some weeks you just log in and do the first activity for that week and you hit conquest cap on them. So I've got 5 of the 9 to item level 306, which is good. So that means I can start trading gear around. And the rest are sitting at like 302 to 305. So they'll tick over in the next week or so. But this was a non-activity week. Last week was bounty contract week. I forget what's coming up this week. So there wasn't really anything, any big event to do or anything like that. So I said, well, you know what? I've got this nice legacy thing. I've got 2 stealth characters, one in either faction. I should go find datacrons. So I looked at like, oh, I just need 1 more on this planet. Looked up a guide. I'm like, okay, you just have to do. The only issue I'm having is, as Heather can attest to hearing me curse at the screen yesterday, was the jumping in SOTOR is not consistent. The puzzles are fine. Like it's, okay, you're going to jump from here up to this pipe, but half the time you will start to move forward. You hit jump and you just run off the pipe, or you hit jump and you just jump in place and then you move forward and fall off the pipe, or you jump and you're jumping and moving forward and you overshoot the jump, in a couple cases. So,
yeah, it's the engine. Yeah, the engine just isn't designed for that.
No, but for the most part, like, so far most of them that I've gotten in is once you know the inconsistency, like this is, okay, just aim for the wall that the thing's on instead of trying to get onto the thing, you'll do better. I was getting through most of them. I've got there's one on Taurus where you basically have to climb this huge beam that's looks like it should not be climbable, but there is a path up it. And then from the very top of it, you have to jump off down to another ledge. If you're not in the right position, you just die because the fall is so great and there's no medical revive. So you got to go all the way back to the camp.
Jeez.
So you got to run back to the area and go up some, okay, that one's last. There's another one that's on McKeb. Thankfully, Medulla had saved a character on McKeb, and Seema had saved a character on one is a climbing puzzle. The other one is literally you have to go out on this deck, and this object every like 4 minutes will do a huge path. You have to jump on this moving object and then ride it. So the jump is the hard part, but once you're on it, then you have to ride it over to this other area to jump off it onto a spaceship that then you monkey around and get to the datacron. So thankfully they both had saved characters there. The tough one we're going to have to do for an event, probably one of the achievement nights, is the fleet one, because that requires a group of people. You have to coordinate, like, okay, you hit this panel, then we all run through, and then we need to pull
Right.
you up to this area and that sort of thing. So, but that's been fun. It's nice because I have my and I am falling in love with this character. It's my Jedi tank. She's a shadow. She uses a double-bladed lightsaber, and she can stealth. So it's a
Oh
tanky
wow.
stealth character. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is
How
this is my perfect
Yeah.
character. This is
Rogue tank.
literally, yeah, exactly. So it's like, and the nice thing is, like most of the stuff you do in stealth with that character, like if you fall, you're fine. You can activate your rocket boots for some reason in stealth, and no one notices you. You can turn on your
Funny.
force speed and run, and people don't
Nice.
notice you. So that's a fun character. And then on the Imperial side, I have my Imperial agent, and she can stealth, and so it's great because basically they're like, okay, so you're gonna have to kill these and watch out for these respawns. Nope. Just like if you
Nope,
fall
oh,
down
good.
in the middle of them, you're like, did you hear something? No, I didn't hear a thing. Okay, keep going. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of the datacrons. I think I have like 25 left, because there's some like Terrace you have to do 5 on the Imperial side and then 4 on the Republic side. Other planets, it's like it doesn't matter, either side can get to them, so it's just whatever character you had. There was one really cool one on Nar Shaddaa, which is the High Life and stuff, and that is you basically sneak through this area up to an elevator, take the elevator down into a working incinerator, and you have to run over and hit the, like, let me out of here before you get burned up. But as you do that, you turn around and grab a scan card from one of the machines, and then in another section you go up to where they store all the used slot machines, and in one of the used slot machines is a datacron, and you have to use this card to then open that up, unlock it, and get the datacron. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, Mew?
Oh, mostly Final Fantasy 14 rating, with spreadsheets actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I guess you could do this with WoW, maybe to a lesser extent, but what bosses do in raids is fairly timetabled. It's just that, like, the way they keep it interesting is that, at this timetable it could be one of 2 things or one of 3 things, 4 things. That's how they, make it to where
Yeah.
you can't just, blindly go through stuff. But yeah, I'm a scholar healer, and it's really important that you time what you're doing with a scholar healer because they're a shield healer.
Mhm.
For you have to do stuff beforehand, and then help with after. But the non-shield tank, the non-shield healer, is the one that usually, like, will get everybody up to full and then apply your shield after, kind of thing. The disciplined priests are fairly similar from what I hear, and to holy paladins to a lesser extent. So it's just been interesting coordinating with the healers. Like, I'm going to do mine here. Okay, I'll do mine here. And the tanks are going to do their thing because, like, the Final Fantasy 14 raids are such an interesting dance that everyone has to participate in and everyone has to contribute. And, like, if you don't do everything just right, it doesn't work. The tanks have a mitigation that they can do where they make the boss do less damage. DPS often have a mitigation. Well, they'll make it do less magic damage or something like those lines. Like, it's interesting, all these little things, and then there's also DPS increases. Where WoW kind of just has the a bloodlust or what do they call it, heroism on the allied side. Like, you have all kinds of stuff like that on the Final Fantasy 14 side, and it's just interesting how you try to make that puzzle all work together, and having a spreadsheet actually kind of makes it a lot easier. So, it's been interesting planning all of that out, and then as you have your timetable figured out and start memorizing it, and then you're doing it in the fight, like, the fight just seems to get easier and more interesting, and, like, you're able to enjoy the fight a little bit more because, like, this stuff is now automatic.
Right.
You can do, like, in our case, healers are expected to eventually start doing DPS as well. They're not going to beat the DPS, obviously, but
they're going to contribute. Yeah.
Right,
yes.
right.
I'm actually working on the last boss for this current tier. They call Eaton 12 Savage. And it's actual dual boss. It's one of those where you defeat the first part, and then there's an intermission, and then you defeat the second part. So we're currently working on the first boss because we finally we got the third one down. It was almost like we've been working on that for weeks, and then suddenly it just clicked. We had our timetable down, and just suddenly like light switch come on, and
Right.
just plowed through it. It's like, oh wow, that was quick. What do we do now? It's just
Next
one
boss.
of those. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so it's interesting, and now we do re-clears. Like WoW has a similar thing, but unlike WoW, like you can choose to stop doing a certain boss if you no longer need stuff from it. Just oh, we don't need gear from that anymore. Okay, go on to the next one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they really do honor your time. Like they respect that you have a certain amount of time to play. There's no trash. There's no having to worry about rezzing and running back to the boss and getting all set up and eating, and like it's just we wiped, okay, let's start again.
Right.
We wiped, okay, let's start again. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Sweet.
you're able to focus on the fight and get really good at that fight and get the dance down and then conquer it, and it's just a great feeling. And
Yeah.
I kind of miss that feeling in WoW. So
A little bit.
yeah, a little bit. We in WoW rating, my heroic team did actually have a pretty good night on Thursday, where we very cleanly got 4 bosses down before things were over.
Nice.
Unfortunately, then I have a feeling that group is going to probably fall apart at this point because they've had another set of defections, because it's kind of a problem we've been having in WoW. And I guess I'll wait for Pets to get back so we can discuss it. But
Okay, keep going, because I know. So yeah, 'cause it's kind of that weird lull period, and just kind of waiting for the new stuff to drop, or what.
well, it's not even the lull. It's the loot issue. It's been the loot issue since this expansion came out.
Uh-huh.
But it's amazing what that lack of loot has done to everything in this game. It's like to them, it's like, oh, you guys are getting the normal loot. Here, let's dial that back. You're getting too much loot. And I know why they did it. They did it.
Yeah.
Well, they did it because they want to stretch out the content. They thought, oh, if you don't get as much loot, you'll do this content longer, and you won't notice that we're keeping you on the same content for longer. So,
yeah, but it also gives that frustration because you're just banging your head against the wall and not getting what you need, and it's that kind of double-edged sword.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not even what you need. It's just getting loot. Even, one of their complaints that they tried to address with this from BFA was like, we're just getting too much loot and none of it's what we want. So we're just, burning it or tossing it or whatever. So the idea, as it was presented, was you're going to get less but more meaningful loot. That is a damn lie. Sorry.
yes.
That's
Yeah. No.
because what we're getting is less loot, and when you get the loot, it's not guaranteed to be interesting or useful to you. So it's like, hey, I finally got loot that is a downgrade or a side grade.
Yes.
And that's the frustrating part. And then they also taking away the boss token, the bonus coin.
Yeah, the choice of getting a bonus.
Right. Like, I specifically need loot off this boss, so I want an extra chance at this boss.
Right.
You no longer have it. All you get is now, okay, you've killed 3 bosses, so once a week, the Great Vault's going to generate a piece of loot from all the bosses that you've killed up to this so far.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a chance of getting an upgrade from something, but there's no control, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and to supposedly fix this, they buffed Mythic dungeons. So they thought that was okay, because the thing is they're very narrowly focused on the 1% of the Mythic raiders that do Mythic dungeons. Like that's part of their like to get to the end faster, they have to do Mythic Plus dungeon.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, we'll just make Mythic dungeon stuff, give you tokens, and that's where you'll get your loot. But ignoring the other 99% of the raiders that may not enjoy that Mythic Plus. I,
Right.
for one,
Yeah.
am one of those that I don't enjoy Mythic Plus at all. I tried this expansion because I wanted to get in there, and it's not enjoyable. Like
No.
the affixes they put on this stuff is like, we're going to punish you. We're going to make you miserable in these dungeons.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, it's the trash is harder than the bosses. Like, who
Yeah.
wants that? Who wants trash that's tedious to burn through every week?
Right.
And then you have to, now they want us to grind through, get 5, get all of these dungeons in 5, get all these dungeons in 10, yada yada, to upgrade your mythic,
Yeah.
not your raid gear. We're
No.
not going to give you more interesting raid gear. We're going to give you this mythic dungeon gear instead.
Yeah.
And when we complain, then like, we'll buff mythic dungeons, or go play PvP. Well, no, I don't like PvP.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because it's
So-
either you get gear from raiding, gear from mythic dungeons, or gear from raided PvP. But if literally all you're trying to do is just raid and gear up through raiding, you don't even the world bosses. I think Rose on week 16 of never getting a drop from any world boss.
God.
Yep. Yeah, I have not gotten any either. It's and we don't have the bonus token anymore, so
Right, so you can't burn
our
it.
yeah, and so I don't know. It's I'm seeing what is it? We're at 3 or 4 different content creator groups that have said that they're going to take a break now because
Yeah.
they're just kind of done. I mean, this one choice, the way they changed Rayloot, has such wide implications
Well,
all over.
yeah, it's a couple of things. It's one, I know it's COVID, slowing their development cycle.
Sure.
But what the problem is, because they're not getting story content out to cover a badly designed or badly implemented system. It's just exposed it that much more. Like if we were in Legion, when we were in Legion, you had 12 class stories to go do. So even if you'd gotten through the patch story for that current patch, you still had something else to go work on. With B of A, you basically did it one time one side, one time the other side. Now at least you had 4 characters or 4 covenants to get through. But once you've gotten through that story, there's not enough anima to drive you opening up new content, because like each level of the Abomination Factory in Maldraxxus, for instance, you open up has a little bit of story with it. Each part of the Covenant, the Conservatory in Ardenweld has some story with it. But if you're not actively working on those systems and opening that up, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not like you can go to the Maw for that content, because the Maw is specifically designed to kick you out
Yeah.
and make you miserable. Like,
Ugh.
I understand the design,
Yeah.
but in practice, it's like I am being told by my content that it doesn't want me here, so I guess I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't look forward to it anymore. It's like,
no. Like if you get your 20 souls, so if you've got the ring, you're only at Jailer Eye 1.9, but if you don't have the ring, you're at Jailer Eye 2. So you're already 2 of 5 in there, and all you've done is one weekly quest. So you can't, you could go get Venari's things, but like by the time you work on one of Venari's things, having to avoid all the other trash mobs, not get pulled into a boss fight accidentally, or a rare mob spawn fight, you're at like Jailer Eye 4.
Oh, and if one of the callings is to do something in the Mall, you're screwed.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, and the issue is, there are people who like, oh yeah, no, I love the Mall because I go down there and I just max it out, to Jailer Eye 5 and then get out when I'm done. But they're also spending an hour down there, and that's the big thing I think about this, is they're not respecting the time we want to put in the game versus what they're giving us to do in the game.
Like, and if you actually enjoy the Maw, once you hit Jailer Eye 5, there's a point where it literally will not let you stay.
Yeah.
Like, it will just like pull out. Other than being like you physically dragged out by something that flies around, like it will actually it stops your healing and starts hurting you.
Oh, gosh.
It literally does not want you there, even
Right.
if you enjoy yourself there.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, I guess that content is now done with me for the day.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, that just lots of decisions where you know why they did it, but then when it's in practice and all meshed together, and it's just,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like
And the same thing with Torghast. Like I haven't set foot in Torghast because there's no permanent anything you're getting out of Torghast once you've gotten your memories, unless you're getting Soul Ash for your legendary. But if you've already decided this is the legendary I'm on and upgraded it all the way, and you don't need more Soul Ash because you can't equip a second legendary yet, so you don't need to craft the second legendary.
There's no point.
There's no other reason to go in there. I have the mount from the Beast Warden or the Beast Hunt, so I don't have to wait for 9-1. I don't have to try and run 8 levels of twisting corridors and get frustrated like Ro did. And we'll be able to ride mounts of them on 9-1 when that comes out. So, yeah, there's just a lot of... I think there's a lot of...
There's a lot of good intentions, I guess.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Good intentions, they just didn't... They fell flat.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I was listening to one of the YouTube creators talk about, 9-1 coming up, and they're like, folks, you have to remember, Mists of Pandaria is my favorite expansion, but it started out really badly. No one remembers that because it finished so strong. But, so they're hoping that, like, the same thing will happen with this one, is they'll flesh it out and it'll be, the good expansion. But they're like, yeah, they had to make some major changes in Mists of Pandaria to, make people enjoy the expansion. So we'll see.
I've heard so many ultimatums that if 9-1 doesn't fix something, that I'm going to do this and that, and it's more dire than usual. And I know it's because of the backdrop we have, but it's definitely like I am at a point where the one group I'm in it might be done. So and the sad thing is like I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have time to play other games and do other stuff.
I have more time for other stuff. That's what I'm seeing. Like I enjoy my work with FERT, and that's honestly enough for me.
Yeah.
Like I log in to raid and then I'm done because none of the rest of the game is interesting to me.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's sad because, COVID gave us all this time to do stuff, and what I think it did was point us at a bunch of other stuff to do other than WoW. Like WoW, I always joke about, I have to log in and do my WoW chores, but now it's just like, even those the problem was in all the other systems, in the other expansions, you were making manageable, noticeable progress towards something. But and I don't even know that if they, tripled the amount of anima or whatever to where, you could make more progress, but trying to save up like
it would help
10,000 anima, 12,000 anima for these, for these level 5 systems, it would help. Because I think the most you can get is like 1,000 anima a day, including the mission table. So, you'd have to work 10 days of basically doing nothing but farming world quests. And it's like,
no, thanks.
No.
Right.
It's not interesting. Like, and that's what I'm working on now. I'm at like 5,000 of 10,000 to get my next thing unlocked. And it's just like, I don't know that I'm, like, wow.
Yeah.
I'll just wait until 9-1, when anima is hopefully fixed and we get access to a little bit more of it, and then I'll take care of it. Like I just don't I don't feel the need or the pressure to do it right now. It's like, okay, I guess I'm done.
It sounds to me like that's almost like a mechanic just to keep you in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just picking away at it. Death by paper cuts.
Yeah, but it's pushing us away.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, like, there's a whole vendor with a whole bunch of transmog and other stuff, but it also costs anima. It's like, so the choice is I can spend $3,500 on a cosmetic backpack item once, but then that's $3,500 that doesn't go towards one of my Covenant systems.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not very value added.
like Mew and I, like I can barely do this on one character. I can't do this on other characters.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You know.
It's I'm definitely like I have not touched my druid as much lately because it's too much effort.
Yeah.
It's like I'm starting to focus on the paladin because it's I can do tanking and I can DPS on it, and because my heroic team was doing heroics and not touching normals, it worked out. No
Yeah.
no
Right.
walkouts to worry about. It's sad. Like I have not even had the urge to do my third and fourth. Like I don't know what's going on with the Necro Lords. I don't know what's going on with the ID boys.
The Phantom.
Yeah. I actually ended up having to watch the Taliesin thing that went on and explained all that to figure out what's going on. It worked out well, and I didn't have to go through the effort of getting all that stupid anima.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and that's the sad thing, because like the renown system works really well. Like if you're
does.
behind and you're starting an alt, the renown levels, other than those weird blocks you run into every once in a while, work really well and get you through the story. And when it was time gated based on, you're doing 3 renown a week to start out, it still felt like you were making noticeable progress and getting a reward. You're not making noticeable progress towards a reward that is going to be useful to you right now.
Right.
Yeah. It's for two anima. I understand they want to tell us anima is rare, but like, didn't what we did at the raid have anything to do with that? Like, didn't that?
Yeah.
Like, if they tell you in the raid, we are here to stop the flow to the maw.
Right.
Okay, raid's over. Okay, why didn't something switch? Why didn't they flip a switch?
Well, like,
and
like I've got my anima conductor, all 6 sites reinforced, so it's generating anima. I defeated Sire Denathria, so that anima's not. I know we got to wait for 9.1 mechanically, and that should solve it. But still, it's frustrating that they haven't come up with a 906 or 908 patch where they
like if 9.1 was coming out now, that setup would have been fine.
Yeah,
but 9.1's not coming out until probably August or later. So
July, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. It's I mean they if they wanted, I don't know what they do. Like what do they do? Like, are they going to stick to their usual way of we know best?
Yeah.
We're going to ignore our players, or are they actually going to listen to us?
Yeah.
And notice all the content players, all the raid teams, everything that's just like going into hibernation. Everything's going into stasis, and like we're going to go play something else for a while.
Yep.
But I've ranted long enough. But yeah, that's. Other than that, I have enjoyed Genshin, which they've somehow managed to get out constant content out of that game. So yeah, not everyone's in this strange content drought as WoW is. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see what's going on over there in the future. Like they've been surprisingly quiet, and I've seen other teams very, very vocal, telling us what's going on. Like, we're going a little slower, but here's some content. We're going a little slower, but here's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's the nice thing about Final Fantasy XIV. It's built, the way it's built is to dribble out. You can do content releases and patches and story beats and things like that.
Yeah.
The same thing with SOTOR. They're doing story beats, like here's a new flashpoint, here's a little bit of story, while they're getting ready for whatever the big 10th anniversary announcement is at the end of the year. So
right.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
guess we'll just have to focus on that.
I think it's 2021. Lots of stuff to look forward to. We just have to get to the point where we can get to it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's 100% it. Yep. In fact, that may be the show title.
Right. So, Ted, I think we kind of discussed for, pretty much what you wanted to discuss with your question, which is that
It's not
illusion of
direct.
choice. Or forced choices.
Yeah.
I had a different thing in mind, but we can discuss that another time. I think if a game, and I think this is the big thing that a lot of, it's not just Mew and I saying it, a lot of other podcasters have been saying this, is if the game isn't respecting your time and you're not enjoying it, then you need to find something else to do. You're just going to be frustrated by it. And I think that's the big thing WoW has right now
We're done with being frustrated.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. People
we have other options. We have a lot of other options.
A lot of other options.
And that's the other thing. So if you're not retaining players through your content and your systems aren't engaging, they're going to go elsewhere. So.
Yep, there's Valheim's, there's other MMOs. Riot has an MMO coming out.
Fun.
Yeah, like there's stuff that will gladly give us, a better time translation for our efforts.
Yep.
It's
Right.
just, yeah. So they need to step up. We're pretty quiet over there.
So what did you say, Heather? It was 2021 waiting to get...
Lots of stuff coming. We're just waiting to get there.
Okay.
Yep. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
But you know what? The worrisome thing is, if, as EO Kazrick said, if 9.1 gets delayed, then everything else is going to be delayed.
Yeah.
And that's, they're just putting themselves, they're giving themselves this 8 ball to be behind, they have to get,
Yeah.
behind. And then it starts affecting, we're already seeing it. We're seeing podcasts on hiatus. We're seeing people saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to resubscribe once something gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, if 9.1 is late, then what does happen, to the subscriber numbers even more so?
Yeah, what I hope, because I want to see where this story goes. I'm invested in, I know some people aren't invested in the story. I'm at least invested in the story and want to see where it goes. What I don't want to happen is Warlords. I don't want them to bail halfway through and say, we're so far behind or we're not executing on what we needed to do that we're just going to get ready for 10.0.
Yeah, no, that would be a bad choice.
Yeah.
They have so much freedom to do whatever they want in Shadowlands.
Yeah.
That if they don't take advantage of it, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. All right. Well, I think that's good.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the show for tonight. So while the chat room begins suggesting show titles, or if we discuss them amongst ourselves, we do in
Kazrick, you're our show. You're our chat room. It's just a show title.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll thank each other for talking to each other and joining us for each other.
Yes, thank you.
So thanks, us.
Thank you, Bets. All right. If you have questions, comments, or even show suggestions for us, email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. Also, by the way, we're always available. If you go to the Discord, there actually is an AIE Podcast channel there. That's where we do the chat room. But if you ever want to get any of us, we're available on Discord or just ping us there. You can follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Mew is at The Mew Cow. I am at Cyberwaif. And Tet is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with ramblings and video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join our chat room and play along with us at our website, aie-guild.org, podcast-live-stream, and our Discord server, which is AIE guild.info Discord. For past episodes, you can find them on our YouTube channel. Look for the AIE Podcast on YouTube. Our theme, of course, was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him with Keys with Soul or visit his website, andrewallenmusic.com.
And now it's time to play any 8 great AIE member segments we have this week, but we have not received any yet. So if you are COVID bored and you want to generate a segment, 90 to 120 seconds, minute and a half to 2 minutes, send it to us. We will listen to it and put it on the show.
And remember, it doesn't have to be about WoW.
Yeah.
So if you're really into a new game and want to give us a nice segment about Final Fantasy 14 or Valheim or what you're doing over in Duel or, any number of things, send it our way. We would love to hear from you. Next time, we'll probably be talking about Final Fantasy 14 stuff
Yes.
since the patch will be a couple days fresh about that point. So until then, AIE, this is Mukau.
And this is Makala.
This is Tetsemi.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Yay!
Hey!
Try and see if we can get Kel and Abo on.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Hey, Abo.
I know.
Hey, Abba, want to do a show?
Want to do a podcast?
I already bugged him in the officer channel, so I unwanted by the maw. I think that's a strong. Unwanted by the Maw. I'll wait for 9.1. Yeah, I think that's a strong show.
That's
title.
good. Yeah.
I like that, Tiber. Let's do that. All right. Cool.
All right. So I need to go make 2 strudels for dinner and
Yes.
dessert. So I'm gonna
Ooh, exciting.
All right.
mushroom strudel and apple strudel. So I'm gonna pop out.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Chat room.
Chat room, you're amazing.
Talk to you later.
Yes.
And you too. You're okay. I'll keep you.
All right. Bye.